I've got two nerdy ties. I've got my Sonic one, and I've got one that's covered in like computer, like wires and stuff.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, like hard drives,
circuitry
and stuff all connected.
And stuff.
So yeah, it's really. Found it in a charity shop. It's only £1.
Nice. Well, hey everybody, and welcome to Spine Chill, episode 35. We've got a very special episode for you today. If you're watching the video version right now, you may see that we are ready for Doug's co-host interview today, Gary and I.
Yep, ready. Totally ready.
Yep. John Wolfe, Gary the Hot Cross, both co-hosts, and Doug Running Man, 36-time recurring guest, soon to be co-host.
Maybe. What if, Doug?
I'm trying not to get too excited. I'm trying not to get too nervous. I know. I don't usually. Okay. No, please, Gary.
Oh, this isn't
Please.
a question for the interview. I'm just curious. What's the first thing who's the first person you'll call if you got it?
Gary. I would call Gary right away and let him know. That'd be the number one for sure. No, I don't actually get nervous.
Good, you're sucking up already. This is good.
Well,
Gary, I imagine would respond, how the fuck did that happen?
yeah, real. Yeah, that's why I call Gary, because I have a degradation kink. He's just gonna give me how much. He's just gonna talk shit to me the whole time. No, but no, I don't get nervous. I'm just, I feel like, if it is to be, so be, so it is.
I mean, the confidence is definitely showing. I can't help but notice. I'm wearing a shirt and tie. John's wearing a shirt and tie. You're not.
Yeah, I wore my Tim the Tap Man hoodie because I know you're both big fans, right?
Yeah,
because we got tacos and pizza over here, right? So you're both big fans, so
we love Tim the Tap Man. Gary and I
that's
spent
what
all of our time watching his Fortnite streams.
That's how me and John became friends.
Yep.
We were both hanging
Tim the
out
Tap Man.
in Tim the Tap Man's chat, and we just were like, "You seem pretty cool."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Wanna play
Spine
Heroes of
lore.
the Storm?
Spine Chill lore happening. So so that's why I chose the Tim the Tap Man hoodie. That's got to be my first bonus point? Yeah.
Well, the bonus points are hidden right now. It's like your MMR and DVD. You won't know what it is.
Well, if it's like my MMR and DVD, I'm already maxed out. So let's go.
No. It's not quite like that.
No.
The similarities end in it being hidden.
It's like DVD's MMR. Sometimes it means you're at the top, but sometimes it just means you're kind of just getting whatever it's got.
And just like DVD's MMR, it's probably a little lower than you think it is.
Yo, no. If you put top MMR in your title, that makes it true.
True. But yeah, we have a great show for everybody today. We're going to be talking about the upcoming Dead by Daylight release for Alien. The Xenomorph and Ellen Ripley are going to be in the game in just a few short weeks, and the PTB happened this last week. I think we all have stellar rave reviews, and I'm very eager to get into that. Where we're all just agreeing with each other for once. So we'll talk about that first.
Make a nice change.
Yeah, true. We'll be talking about some Texas Chainsaw Massacre previews and thoughts leading up to the game's release this upcoming week. And then we'll be doing Doug's co-host interview. So that's kind of the schedule for today.
Sounds good. I'm on board. I like it.
Yeah, me too.
How about you, Doug? How do you feel about it?
It's okay.
It's okay. We're going to need more enthusiasm from the co-host.
I don't know. I don't want to put my carts before my horses or whatever the phrase is, but sort of feels like a little weird that we're not leading with the interview. Like, it'd be kind of nice to talk about this Alien chapter and talk about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre release, like, as a co-host.
You think a recurring guest is more important than the PTB and Texas Chainsaw?
Now, see, these are qualities that we're looking for in a co-host. Someone who can put themselves below the good of the podcast.
Like, there are people clicking off right now because they're like, interview. Oh.
Yeah.
You know what's actually happening? People are fast forwarding to the. Anyways, okay. You know what?
Well, we'll see. We'll check the analytics after.
Yeah.
After to see what parts people are watching the most.
Just watch the.
Yeah, I think every YouTube video has that exact incline,
Yeah.
decline.
Yeah,
so.
well, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
maybe we'll
normal,
break.
though.
Maybe the interview will break the meta. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna give it to you guys. We're gonna do this as like a science test. We'll see. Let's see how the analytics look for the
Mhm.
interview.
Okay.
We'll see what the people are really interested in.
Right. Yeah. The numbers won't lie. So first we're going to talk about Dead by Daylight, Alien
Yes.
DLC.
7.2.0, the PTB, just this week.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, last week. No, this week. It was this
It was
week.
this week.
My-
It was this past
Sorry,
week.
I took some days off streaming, and it's just thrown my brain all out.
Yeah.
But yes, we have got the Xenomorph, we have Ellen Ripley, and we have a new map. Should we start
do.
with the Xenomorph?
Yeah. Start with the killer.
Oh, where do we start? With its power? Or
Its
powers?
I will say it looks exactly like the Xenomorph from Alien Isolation. Like they nailed it. The look.
Visually, I think it looks amazing. Did you know the bit when you first click on the Xenomorph and it's like not there?
Yes.
I was confused, and I saw the dripping, and then it just crawled down. I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be good."
Yeah, how it introduces itself into the screen. That's great.
Yeah, that's like, it's got to be one of the best, right?
Yes, for sure.
Because Sadako's
Yeah.
is pretty good.
Yeah, Sadako's where she climbs out of the well is cool, but this one, I mean, he's not even there. I thought my game was, you know,
I just was like,
messing up.
"Oh, something's gone wrong."
Yeah. Oh, typical.
Another bug
day
in
one
DBD.
bug. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Well, and what I think is kind of awesome about it, right, is like you go into the character selection and you get that cool little thing, and that's like your for us as content creators or people that are playing the game, like that's your introduction to the chapter,
Yeah,
and just like the attention to detail and like the level of passion that went into just the character select screen, kind of gave you guys like the hint. Like when you first loaded it up, right, you were like, "Wow, they did not mess around on this chapter." Like this one's not mailed in. This is
which makes sense, because this is probably the biggest chapter since Nemesis, like Resident Evil getting in the game
Yes.
for the first time.
yeah.
This is the horror like, film.
We'll talk
Agreed.
more. We'll talk more about that, I think, because like I'm ready to talk about where I like place this in terms of what DVD
Whoa.
has
Are
done.
you suggesting we go back to our tier list about the DLCs and see where
Oh,
we
yeah.
put this? It's
I
not
would-
even
I would
out
say-
yet, Doug.
It doesn't matter. It's only going to get better. And right now, like this PTB chapter is tighter, cleaner, and better than any chapter they put out since what? Wesker?
I don't disagree. Yeah.
The
No.
PTB version. If they released it just cold, like it is now, this
Mhm.
would be the best chapter they've released. And I'm not even going to say it wouldn't be better than Wesker. I'm saying like from the time that I put into the PTB and the experience that I've had with this chapter thus far, the PTB version of the chapter, it would be on the level of the Wesker chapter as
This
it
is
is now.
I would say this one's better than Wesker.
I would agree. That's the
Yeah.
thing. I didn't want to
Because
say
it-
that because I'm
well,
going to interview later, but I would agree.
Yeah, because like I tell you what, I like the Nostromo map.
I
And
mean-
I hated what happened to RPD with Wesker.
Yeah.
So
Okay, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna say it. This might be the best chapter they've ever put out. Like this is arguably, to me, this is like I'm gonna have a hard time arguing against it being the best chapter they've ever put out.
Mhm.
And that comes from, I mean, like it's just they just everything is perfect. Like it's the attention to detail, the game balance factor of the killer actually being viable, of the killer maybe even being like strong, like maybe even in like that upper A, lower S tier, right? But like they didn't sacrifice in any category. The map is incredible, and then again, I gotta say, the map team starting to win me over, right? Like
yeah.
Agreed.
Right?
Yeah.
Toba pretty solid.
Should we
The rework's pretty solid.
Should we start
Nostromo-
on the
yeah.
map as we're on the topic?
Let's
of
do
the
it.
map?
Yeah,
let's just start
because
on the map.
I would love.
Yeah.
To. I would love
I-
to. Yeah.
There's a really small feature that I just really want to like applaud. It's a really weird one to say. Like I love it. You know how Dvarka Landing has those little ramps.
Yes.
So does the Nostromo map, and I liked it. It made me really happy when I noticed it had them as well. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm glad to see them being used elsewhere. I hope one day it becomes something more for the game. But like, I like that it's
Yeah.
nice because I like the ramps. They're really charming.
Mhm.
It's a really small detail, but it just made me so happy. I also just love. I don't know which bit does. I love the way it looks.
Yeah. they nailed the look. Like inside the ship and outside, everything just
Yeah.
looks exactly like you would want.
Yeah.
From an
Well, yeah,
Alien
and then of
DLC.
course, when we heard Alien was coming, right? Everybody thought Nostromo was going to be an indoor map, right? Like we all were like, "Oh God, here we go, another indoor map." And
Right.
then they've managed to capture that indoor map feel while keeping it like that's the indoor map is the main building.
Yes,
That's the vibe they have. The shack being like a spaceship, like it's like
the downed pod, right?
the down pod. Yeah, it's just I know, like I don't want to like be a simp, but it's like they just did so good in every area, and the map feels like strong for both sides. Like you don't feel like when you play Survivor on the map, you don't feel like you've got no tools. When you play Killer on the map, I don't feel like it's impossible.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm gonna hold off on judging the balance of the map till it's like live.
That's fair. That's fair.
Because
I mean,
it's really hard to tell when people are pissing around in the PTB and
but I will say just based on first impressions, it seems comparable to like Toba to me in terms of balance, which is
it
pretty
seems
middle of the
fine.
road.
There's no glaring issues from what I can tell with it. I will also the most new thing in it for a DVD map is that it has map specific objective like side things you can do in terms of those little slowdown vents.
Oh
Yeah, the air
yes,
vents.
yeah.
The steam vents.
Yeah, it took me a while to get the gist of them because like, there's a timing element to it. But when it does hinder you, you can feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting addition, and I really hope to see more maps do that. And I wouldn't actually be against them going back and adding them into some of the other maps in some way.
Yeah. Yeah, I do like that. Like the structure of the Nostromo isn't just, you know, the environment, you know, hallways to run through on your way to the next pallet or the next vault. There's actually features to it. You know, there's like you said, like those air vents. I'd like to have more interactivity like that in the future with more maps like that.
Something for my four-man Swift to do before I bring the killer there.
Yeah, well, it's like the concept of an environmental hazard. I feel like has always been untapped in DBD, because I can't think of another map that has something like that. I could be wrong.
Do you know one map that I would like to see them add it to? The game. Like, take out some pallets and put some jigsaw things in there.
Yeah, put some kind of, I don't know, some kind of trap. Yeah, some barbed wire or something.
Yeah, just something that just.
Yeah.
So it's not always bloody pallets.
I'm not saying we want to turn this into Home Sweet Home online or anything. It's just like, oh, this doorway's trapped, and this doorway's trapped, and this doorway's trapped. But just having a little bit of character to the map aside from just, you know, where the pallets and vaults are would be great.
Yeah, so I think the Nostromo map, fantastic. That's before I haven't seen all the Easter eggs yet. I know they're out there. I've seen one, which was the face hugger hit in the window.
The face hugger. It's like impossible to miss. Yeah.
Yeah, that one was cool. Apparently, there's a lot more out there which I haven't seen, and I'm choosing not to. I saw like every streamer tweeting out a video and like, here they all are, and I was like, okay. And I'm not watching that.
All Easter eggs. Nostromo map, all Easter eggs.
Spoil the game for yourself right now. And it's like, oh, I'll hold off. But no, it's cool. Like I always like Midwich. I think Midwich is one of the best maps in the game. Not because it's balanced or anything, but just because I like that it's got little, like, I haven't played Silent Hill, but it's got like the crying in the bathroom, and then there's the guy that falls out of the locker and stuff like that. And there's like the hidden room, like all that stuff's really cool. I love that.
Yeah, the hidden room is taken like straight from the game, from the actual game. Like there's a puzzle that you can do with the two rooms that the generators are in that you do to open the secret room. So they did a great job. Yeah, they did an outstanding job, like with Midwich in particular, making that map have a lot of character. So I agree with you; it's one of the best in the game. Just from a, you know, unique creativity, innovation perspective. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Nostromo might be on par with it.
Yeah,
maybe ahead of it because it seems more balanced, but it's hard to until I probably get to play it. But
I do like that they made, you know, we touched on this, but I do like that they made a good compromise between having a fully indoor map and having like a half indoor, half outdoor map. Because I feel like the balance is really well done. They could have just made it another completely indoor map, but they didn't. It's like, to me, they're showing with this and with Toba Landing that they're interested in making maps that are fun to play the game on, and not just ones that look nice or have like a high graphical fidelity or whatever.
And as another thing, like I know when they were doing their map reworks, we were all a bit worried they were going to like, oh, here's all the main buildings go in the middle, junk goes around them, here's the loops, and we were a bit worried, I think, a few seasons ago that they were going to make maps very similar feeling.
Yeah.
But I think this map feels so unique, and I love the downed pod.
Yes.
The escape pod that's Killer Shack.
Yeah.
I think it's perfect because it's like Killer Shack. It's got the palette that you want there. It's got a strong loop, but it's different.
Yes.
Again, I want more maps like that where there's a Killer Shack, but it's different. I think it's excellent.
Yep.
Totally agree.
I feel like the Killer Shack on Toba is also pretty unique. Like they just kind of, they've been kind of stretching out their creative muscles on the maps as they've continued. And I think at first we were kind of worried about that. Like they're trying too hard, but then I think that like Toba has aged very well. And
what do you mean with Toba having a unique Killer Shack?
Well, the Killer Shack just like aesthetically is just different.
It's got stuff growing all over.
Yeah, sorry,
Yeah,
I kind of mean the shape of it a bit more, but no, you are right. It definitely looks different.
Yeah, okay, I get you. Well, then of course there's the Shack in Dead Dog, which is like
Dead Dog's another great example.
Right.
I'd like to see them continue to do that. Although I think that they kind of played around with that with Garden of Joy with like the obstacles outside of the Shack, and then they like reverted that change after everybody thought it was terrible.
Yeah.
Oh, did they revert it? Okay, because I was just thinking I can't remember seeing that in the game recently.
That's because it still felt like boring normal Killer Shack, but worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like because we're programmed to know what we're going to expect when we get to Killer Shack, so it looked the same, but it felt different. Whereas
Killer
with
Shack...
oh no,
sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say with the rescue pod, the escape pod, sorry, and like it felt like you see something that looks different, so you react differently. You don't walk in with this preconceived notion of it's Killer Shack.
Right. Yeah, I do think that with that that change that they reverted with the adding the junk outside of the Shack stuff, it's like I think of Killer Shack as kind of a sacred DVD loop. It's like kind of the core loop of the game. I feel like it's just it's like one vault, one palette, and you can do so many mind games with it. It's simple but effective, and they shouldn't fuck with it.
Yeah, it's a very clean loop.
Yeah, right. Just if it ain't broke, don't fix it, and it's not broke. But I do like that they changed it in an interesting way, like with the pod.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, map is a huge win. S+. There's like Easter eggs on the map. There's, like you said, there's the steam vents you can manipulate. There's the main building is like an indoor map, and then there's the outdoor area. There's a cool shack. It's a really really good job.
I even like the vaults to get outside of it.
Yeah,
the
little drop downs,
vaults. Like they're just
drop downs.
Me too. Yeah. There's
they're not
big
overly
drop.
strong.
Yeah, there's the big drop, which it's like you get that big drop, but then the killer can catch up to you really quickly, and then you got like the one that's right outside like the main dining area.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, where it's a small drop, but the killer has much quicker route to you. So I think they're pretty well done. Is there another one?
Those are the two that I can think of.
Those are the two. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I just think. I mean, overall, I honestly don't have any complaints with Nostromo, which shocks me because I have a complaint about everything.
Beautiful skybox as well.
Yeah. I wouldn't change a single thing. I had one. Oh my god! I had this one person running May for this though. And I was chasing them around the like right at the beginning of the main building, that like those little reception desk or whatever. There's like the desk.
Oh yeah,
it was so yakety sax running in a circle around that over and over again because I was playing a 110 killer and they were freaking. I was messing around with a 110 killer, and they were just running me in a circle. It's so stupid. I was like,
that's got that palette there, right? So it's like
so I'm running that circle to Bloodlust to the palette. And it was dumb. It was funny. It's not a problem. It's just something that like made me laugh. I'm like, that's silly little
Benny Hill music kicks in.
I had a moment recently on stream where I was playing Myers, and I was in tier 1. I was on Garden of Joy, and this Jake looped me around the pickup truck in front of the building for like 4 gens because I was just like, I can catch him. And I just never did. I kept losing. I kept like the chase music kept starting and then going away and then starting again and then going away and then start because I just kept holding W. I was like, I wonder how long it's gonna take me until I get him. I had to hit tier 2. There was no way to catch him, but it was a funny moment for me.
Yeah, it was a funny moment.
So, the killer itself. Who wants to describe the power?
Gary, I think you played the most, so why don't you do it?
Okay, yeah, sure. So there's 2 elements to it. It sounds more complicated than it is, I think. But there's Hidden Pursuit, which was actually, when I first started reading it, kind of was a giant red flag for me, but it turned out to be fine. So when you play the Xenomorph, it spawns in a bunch of control stations. I believe 7 control stations, which spawn around the map, which are tunnels that the Xenomorph can climb into and get around the map much quicker. Kind of like a really advanced version of the Demogorgon, because you're able to choose and change the direction you go. You can highlight a specific control station with control, and then it gives you like a little waypoint to guide you there, which is a really nice UX thing, really good. And whilst you're traveling through these tunnels, your cooldown on runner mode, which I'll talk about in a second, is reduced. And it's probably worth mentioning these control stations also double up as a thing for the survivors as well, which I'll talk about in a second as well, because it's just a lot to it. So runner mode is when the Xenomorph goes down on all 4 legs, and its terror radius is reduced. I don't know the exact numbers, but I know it's got a reduced terror radius, and it gains access to its M2 ability, which is a tail attack, which has a shockingly good range to it.
Yeah.
It feels to me like a Nemesis tier 2.5 kind of whip. Like it's not tier 3, but it's better than a tier 2. And it plays very similarly because you can hit over pallets and over vaults, and it's really strong. And then so that's kind of the Xenomorph's kit, and then the control stations double up as a kind of a turret station for the survivors, who can collect these flamethrowers, set them up, and which beep if the Xenomorph gets too close to them, and if the Xenomorph gets even closer, they shoot fire at the Xenomorph, which can hinder them and push them out of runner mode. So it's like a defensive system for the survivors, and they can set them up around generators and stuff to kind of stay safe from the, as I say, the terror radius is reduced in runner mode, and they can sneak up and like do some damage to you. So it's a nice back and forth, like it's a really nifty little system. It sounds terrifying when you first read it and like look at it, but then when you play it, like it just works.
Well, I remember mousing over his power, and like it actually went off the screen, the top part, and I was just like, oh my gosh, come on, does it have to be so long? But so I had similar apprehensions going in, but I really like his power. I like the mobility, like you said, is like the Demogorgon-esque tunnels, but you have more control over where you go. I like the skill shot. It's about time we had a skill shot killer again. We haven't had one since Wesker, so it's been a year. And I love skill shot killers, you guys know. So I'm very happy about that. And most of all, I love that survivors get counterplay. I love that about him. And that's something that survivors have been really missing before the Singularity came out with Skull Merchant and Knight, is that there's no counterplay to those killers, really. Which we could just beat that topic to death some more. But I love that with this, they're showing, and I hope this gives me hope for when they revamp Skull Merchant, that she'll get similar types of counterplay, because this is how you do it. It gives the survivors tools to preempt the Xenomorph setup ahead of time, and it gives them a little bit of an advantage, a little bit of feeling like they're doing something to fight back, but it's not so strong that it's like oppressive for the killer. So
and also like it gives you another option instead of having to always like run for a pallet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like on Midwich, I had there was so many turrets in one corridor. It was like, Xenomorph's got a real bad time going down here.
Well, yeah, and I think it's neat that you can see the auras of the turrets, so like where to loop to if you're being chased, and it's like you said, it's not like an extra pallet. It doesn't like stop the killer from being able to hit you. I mean, the Xeno can still get you. They just get staggered and slowed down, and then depending on what add-ons they use, that stagger and slowdown can be pretty big or pretty small. But I agree. Like for me, when I was reading the breakdown before, like reading the patch notes, I was like, this is great. Like the idea that they're putting in a new mechanic for survivors, like survivors are desperate for something to do other than hold M1 on a gen and go and hook somebody, right? Like they want something, and Singularity was was a good, the EMP system is pretty neat, but maybe not as cool as like setting up a fucking flamethrower, man. Like this is cool, and survivors want that, man. Like survivor players want that, and it's such it's such a good, because it's not oppressive and it's not overly frustrating. I don't think you're going to meet many people that played Xeno that are like, oh, those flamethrowers are just bullshit. Like I don't think I never heard that sentiment one time. And,
which is amazing. They haven't heard something like the DBD community complain about that.
Yeah.
Right.
Amazing. And I think I've had a couple people in the chat to be like, oh, I think they're a little strong. And I'm like, I think you're a little bad, but maybe not. I don't know. Run add-ons, I guess.
The turrets are kind of strong.
Yeah. And then somebody said that. And then I had like another partner streamer in my chat that was like, yeah, quite the opposite. I feel like the turrets could get buffed because like they don't really feel very impactful to me. So
I think they felt perfect.
I thought so too. I thought
as is, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I thought it was perfect. And one thing I want to say, and this goes all the way back to the beginning, what you were breaking down, Gary, is when I read about the control stations and the tunneling, automatically, my first automatic reaction is like, that's going to be a mess. And that the PTB is going to be a mess. And they're going to need to tighten up where control stations spawn. But I don't know about you guys, but I played a few hours of Xeno only. And I thought that the control stations are like literally perfectly placed. Like
they do not spawn too close to generators or anything. It's like
they spawn close enough to generators to like be effective in getting around the map and pushing people off generators, but not like Sadako TVs, right? That are like literally on your ass anytime you're trying to do a gen.
Which when I read the description, that was my initial thing. I was like, it's not like Sadako, is it? Because
Nope. And the way that they made it so it's like super slow to tunnel out if you're by the hook. So like you can't use it as a camp. Because I tried a cheeky little like, this.
You sit under that, you're like, I'll just pop back up. Like those spiders that pop up.
But then when you're doing it, it's like super slow. And it's like, again, if this is what we have to expect moving forward in terms of like overall balance of the power, overall, like it's just so clean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just so good. Like it's strong without being overwhelming. It's fun without being, oppressive for survivors. The counterplay is fun for survivors without being oppressive for killers. Like everything is aesthetically, they crushed it with the Xeno. Like the killer is so strong.
There's one
without
thing,
being overpowered.
There's one thing that I'd like your opinions on. Is the tail too good?
No, definitely not.
I don't think so.
Nope.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I'm on the fence that I wonder if just because sometimes I hit TV with my tail, I'd be like, that felt very generous. Like it's really long, which I don't care. I'm winning with it, but
I know what you mean. I experienced both of those, like both sides of that, because I had hits where I was like, oh, I shouldn't have got that, and then I had non-hits where I was like, I totally should have gotten that though. And I had that on Survivor side too, where I was like, that hit me, and like that should have hit me. So
yeah,
I think it's a little inconsistent. Maybe that would be my criticism, but I know that type of that kind of like pinpoint accuracy is hard to code in and stuff, and so maybe they can do something like with Wesker's hitbox where they make adjustments later.
See, I didn't have any problems with hitting people with it because it's basically like playing Nemesis, but like more accurate. So I'm so used to having to just kind of whip and hope for the best. That, with having a tail that's a bit more like focused on a point, it's a lot easier.
I'd argue it's harder than Nemesis because with Nemesis you can queue it up and then hold and then swing. And with Xeno, it's like once you hit it, it's going. Like it's on a timer and it's going. You can't like aim basically. You just got to decide when you're swinging, so you can swing corners or you can swing pallets, but like you commit to it. And so for me with Nemesis, there's like more mind gaming involved in Tentacles, I think, than there is with Xeno. Which is why again Tentacle is strong or is weaker than the tail. The tail kind of
I'd agree.
You can't mind game like that, right? And so I'd argue that I don't think it is too strong. And I think you're right. They'll tighten up the box. Like there was some sussy hits on both sides where it's like I can't believe that hit or I can't believe that didn't hit. Like that'll happen. But I was playing at night. And I was playing when the death squads were showing up. Like the teams that I was getting near the end of the night when I was playing the first night of the PTB were the guys that were going in and being like, how's our comp team going to look against this killer? Like that's the kind of games I was playing. Like it was strong teams and they were really organized. And like, I'm not complaining about that because I want to feel it. And those guys were very good at counterplaying the tail. Like there is counterplay to the tail. And it's one of those, again, similar to like counterplay of the Nemesis technical. You just got to be like, you got to kind of, where am I going? Which direction am I going? And you work around it. Right. But I think that it's also like, again, perfectly balanced because like at that high level, it's going to be like a 50-50 chess match sort of thing on like which direction they're going to go. But as it goes down to like the more mid-tier and lower tier MMRs, like people not really being able to counterplay the tail is going to be offset by the fact that the tail has got a weird hitbox that's not obvious and has a weird ramp time. So like it'll be hard on both sides. Does that make sense? Like
yeah,
with the hitbox not being super obvious and with there being like once you activate, there's a ramp time and then it goes. So it's like you got I don't know how long it is. Math and numbers are not for me. It's just you got to play with your heart, not with your brain. But once you start the tail starts and it's like, okay, it cues back and it pops. And so you got to like learn that timing. And then there's like, again, they have time to react to that timing. So another thing too, sorry, one last thing. Sorry. This is my last thing and then I'll let you go. But the other thing too is that you can't use the tail out of runner mode. So the tail is very strong, but that's on the survivor team to get the flamethrowers down, get the tail, get them out of runner mode. And then you
that's exactly what I was about to say. Was like I do like that because the tail is so good, it makes you have to use the turrets. You can't just ignore runner mode because that's when the Xenomorph's more dangerous. Like you're not going to make those vaults safely anymore because he's in runner mode. You're not going to get over that pallet. If you drop that pallet, you're going to get hit. Like it kind of feels a little bit like going against Huntress.
A little bit,
very cautious of how you use those vaults and stuff. It's more Nemesis, admittedly. Like it's very Nemesis, but like the same how you handle a vault and a pallet drop. Because obviously when I'm Nemesis, for example, I'll usually just break the pallet rather than hit them with my whip because I'd rather punch them because it's so satisfying.
I will say one thing I was enjoying on the PTB was everyone was so eager to use the tail on Xeno that it made them very vulnerable to 360s because they didn't want to just M1 or so. I think some of them didn't know that they could M1 when they were in runner mode still.
Oh, maybe.
Which I didn't know that when I first played Xeno. I was just like, once the tail came out, I just used it. And then I think it was like halfway through my first match where I was like, oh, I can still M1. Oh, shit. I got both, you know? But so many times when I was playing against Xenos, they were just like, they would just sit there. They'd be like getting the tail ready, and I'd just like spin. They'd be like, and they'd just hit like a wall.
Like a cat trying to hit a toy.
Yeah. They're on skates, man. Like, whoa.
Yeah, like I'm enjoying that now. I know that like once they get some more experience, they're just gonna be like and M1, but it's a funny little thing you can do now.
Oh, sorry. One other thing I wanted to mention about the killer, from a like audio perspective, it's got one of the best designs for me. Like when I'm playing Survivor, which we'll talk about Ellen in a second, but like when you hear the Xenomorph transitioning from normal mode to runner mode, and you hear the shrieks of the Xenomorph around the environment, it's better than the Oni.
Yeah, the Oni has a really great audio cue for that.
Yeah, Xenomorph atmosphere, 10 out of 10. Nailed it.
My first match I got in, where I was like hanging out in the Nostromo, I think just like wandering around, I saw the Xenomorph come in, and it was like perfectly lit, like with the light coming in from the sky and like fog and stuff, and I was just like, that looks like something out of Alien Isolation or something. That looks perfect. I was amazed by it. I was just like, that looks so cool. And then he just like skulks down the hall, just perfect walking animation and everything. I think, not just the audio cues are good, but just everything visually, just everything aesthetically is like 10 out of 10 for me.
Well, not only did they kill it aesthetically, but then we also have the graphic updates to the PTB, so we can you can set your FPS, and you can
That's true.
For me, being able to lock my FPS, lock in VSync. And I played the game on Ultra, and it looked amazing.
Oh, I need to try that. I didn't try that.
Yeah, on the PTB. That's something that you should definitely check that out. But yeah, it's got FPS lock now. It's got VSync now. It's got it's
oh my god,
clean. It looks clean on Ultra.
I'm gonna have to try that.
There's one of a potential. It's not necessarily 10 out of 10. The chase music.
I love it. I thought it was a little. I thought it was perfect, like aesthetic wise, the Alien franchise.
I like the vibe of it, but I did find the repetition to be a little Ghostface Printer-esque.
Yeah, it's a bit too repetitive.
Yeah.
It needs something in between. Like, I think it doesn't need to be completely thrown away. There's just like, it needs to have a lull moment, maybe, where it's not that one sound happening a lot.
Yeah. Well, Gary, if your killer chases were shorter, it wouldn't bother you so much.
Wow.
I've played it more than you, Doug. This is one of the few things where I can go, I've played the killer more than you, so you don't get it. Once you've got as many hours playing the Xenomorph as me, Doug, maybe you'll understand.
Well, I just mastered him so fast I didn't need to play him as much. But anyways, we'll move on.
I mean, my thing is when I'm looping the Xenomorph for 5 gens and I have to hear it the whole time just because I'm so good at it, I mean, what can I do about that?
As the podcast survivor, I mean, that makes sense. And John, I empathize with you because I see you juice, right? I know the juice. But Gary, I understand the reason why he's oversaturated is because he plays killer. It's just, when the chase is lasting for 5 full gens, that just gets a little grating. I get it.
I don't know. I'm cracked at both roles. I haven't got to stoop to this argument. I'm very comfortable with how good I am. Anyway,
cracked at both roles. That should be the title of the fucking podcast.
Cracked at both roles.
Cracked at both roles. Day one.
Cracked at both sides. Cracked at both sides.
I'm not a survivor man. I'm not a killer man.
I'm just cracked at both sides. I'm cracked, man.
I'm cracked at both ends.
I'm cracked on both. Cracked at both ends.
I've trained on Xenomorph.
Oh man, I want that as a t-shirt.
Cracked on both ends. That could be
cracked on both ends.
Yeah. That could be a special original for sure.
Oh, should we talk about the killer perks, or do you want to talk about Ellen now? So
we could breeze
perks
over
now
the perks.
Because
the perks. Yeah. I really think
Ellen's
there's
just perks as well. So
let's talk about the perks.
Yeah.
Should I jump as I've got the notes? Do you want me just to go through them?
Yeah.
I'll go through them in the order I want to, though. Okay. So let's talk about Alien Instinct. This perk activates when you hook a survivor. You see the aura of the furthest injured survivor for 5 seconds, and that survivor is oblivious for 20 seconds. Any strong thoughts?
I mean,
it's like barbecue on crack, man. It's pretty good.
It's a very. It feels like a bully barbecue.
I think that Huntress mains are going to be like
poggers,
cross maps. Yeah.
I mean, I think Huntress main's going to be very happy because of this next one as well. Ultimate Weapon, which is actually my favourite of the 3. I think it's the most viable and probably the strongest of the 3, but no one's really talking about it yet. When you open a locker, this perk activates for 30 seconds. Survivors entering your terror radius scream and reveal their position and gain blindness for 30 seconds. This perk then goes on cooldown for 30 seconds.
Yeah, DVD Twitter, and I'm talking about the DVD Twitter, not the side that cries about everything, but the side that actually knows stuff, like the smart ones. They're all saying that this is going to be like the best tracking perk in the game.
Yeah, I agree with them.
That's what the nerds are saying.
When I started to open lockers as the Xenomorph, I was like, oh, I can just find everyone around me. This is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you could do it with Wesker to get 40 meter aura reading.
Oh my god, yeah. Oh god.
That's gonna be fun.
Well, that's what the community needs is more ways for Weskers to be annoying. So
yeah,
that's pretty
exactly.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
And finally, there is rapid brutality. You can no longer gain bloodlust. Hitting a survivor with a basic attack gives you 5% haste for 10 seconds. This is the one that a lot of people on Twitter were kind of crying about. I didn't get it.
So I thought that this perk was really neat. I mean, this is super my style. This is a very meathead himbo perk, right? Like, I go faster now.
I go fast.
But Doug, you'd be giving up Bloodlust Take the Wheel.
Yeah, I know, and I was okay with that. And I was really excited about it. I was playing with the perk, and I was like running it with Save the Best for Last on Xeno, and I was like, yeah, this is badass. Right. And then some fucking nerds had to come into my chat and be like, well, we done the math, and you actually only save like 0.38 seconds on the chase in a straight line. And so apparently, it's not a big enough boost to warrant running it in most. And then odds, of course, these fucking nerds came into my chat and said it, and I was like very condescending about it. I was like, oh, I guess if you say it. But then Otts had to go and say it too.
Right.
Which
Yeah.
ruined my whole thing. Right.
Yeah.
Otts is showing how it like saves you like a second or two in a straight line chase. And so I think it's one of those things that maybe if it didn't take bloodlust, it would be okay. But because you like sacrifice bloodlust, it's like it's really like for a minimal gain. So it's probably not going to be very viable, even though on paper it seems cool.
Right. How long does it take for Bloodlust 1 to kick in? Is it 30 seconds?
30 seconds, I think.
Okay. And that's the exact same amount of haste that this gives you for 10 seconds after a hit, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah, I feel like it's kind of like a, what do you call it? Like a zero-sum perk almost. It's like you're giving up the same amount of haste that you're getting for less time front-loaded. I don't know. I played with it a little bit. And I feel like I immediately thought about what you said, Doug, about running it with Save the Best for Last. It like seems kind of obvious, right? But I didn't really notice it being that big of a deal. Not as much as I thought it would be. And I tend to not lean on Bloodlust much at all, but I did kind of feel it a little bit in like medium length chases.
I think the only time where I would want to use it is if I'm bringing Noed, and I want to be super speedy when I start downing people at the end. Like,
for me, that's like every game. So
yeah, so I think you'll get some use out of it, Doug.
For sure, yeah. For sure.
I think I'd like it more if it was more. It took time off my bloodlust. Like maybe I don't get tier 3 bloodlust anymore, but I can get bloodlust goes up after 20 seconds instead.
Mm-hmm.
But I never get tier 3. I only get to tier 2 or something with that. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's a perk that I doubt we'll see much use out of.
we'll have to see. I mean, I was told that 3% haste was game breaking, so I'm surprised that this one.
Well, I had a similar mindset, and then people started to compare it to the idea that like it's active all the time, and a 3% haste increase is like 20% speed increase if you look at it from like going from 100 to 103 relative to like 100 versus 115. Like there's all kinds of like math that these nerds, man, you got to be careful, John. Like you're a smart guy. Like I wouldn't call myself a smart guy. You're a smart guy. But some of these guys, man, like they do math.
Care too much.
They care a lot about these numbers, man. And so like I'll be on the stream like this a fucking himbo being like, oh whatever, 3%, and they're like, well, actually, if you count, and they just like break it all down mathematically and dramaturgically, right? And you're like, okay,
right.
My bad.
Whereas I would argue it's not a very good use of their time. So so Doug, in some ways you could say you're smarter than them. You're not wasting your time doing this maths that doesn't matter because you can just feel it in the game.
You know what?
Exactly.
They're doing the math for you.
You're their boss.
You're like you're in charge of them, basically.
You know, I should have probably put that leadership experience on my application to be a co-host. Because I basically am like the boss of the DBD nerd community. The guys that are doing all the math, they're actually kind of working for me, and I feel like I'm managing them very well.
Okay, well, the interview hasn't started yet, Doug, so save it for the interview.
My bad.
But I'm glad to see some eagerness finally showing up.
Right, yes.
Speaking of things that have finally shown up, Ellen Ripley is now in Dead by Daylight as well.
Yep.
And
bug-eyed Ellen Ripley.
Yeah, here we go. Here we go. This is like we're to my only complaint.
My immediate thing when I opened it up and I looked at Ellen, I immediately just clicked on Nancy and then clicked back on Ellen, then clicked on Nancy and then clicked back on Ellen, and I just kept jumping between. So I was like, it's Nancy with big eyes.
There was literally a moment on the stream where I called an Ellen Ripley on my team Nancy because they look so similar.
Yeah.
I was like, the Nancy's self-caring, and it was the Ellen. And I was like, oh, shit. Got them mixed up.
So, I'm a big Sigourney Weaver fan, and so for me, it was like, I opened the game up and I was automatically, I'm like, yeah, they didn't get the license. So
no, they didn't.
No,
there's no way.
Not.
And then I'm just gonna call him out right here on the stream. I went to Sinnoh, because Sinnoh was the first person I saw play the chapter, because you guys both, I don't know, I guess maybe Gary was already off and you hadn't started yet, John. So I woke up and I jumped into Sinnoh's stream, and Sinnoh was actually trying to argue that it was just probably the B team worked on that model. Like he was like, yeah, it looks like you can see how they tried the jawline. So he's like, I really just think it was like poorly executed, and like they'll probably clean it up like they did with.
I imagine they made Ellen Ripley and they went, now fuck it up.
Yeah, change it. Let's just adjust it some. Like, I tried being like polite to him, but I was like, you honestly think that any part of any B team at behavior worked on this fucking chapter? Like, this is not a B team tasking. They're not going to tell
the A team were busy with Nicolas Cage. Yeah, and they're like,
well, that's what he said.
You're on the Xenomorph.
That's what he said. He was
like,
okay
with that, guys?
He's like, they were working on Nicolas Cage, so they wouldn't have. I'm like, dude,
A team. Can you work on the singularity for us? We've got B team. You get the Xenomorph.
Yeah. No, B team really showed up. We got to promote them to B and half for A.
No, the A team is overworked. They're not splitting their time equally with the B team. They're working more.
Yeah.
They worked on Nicolas Cage
B team.
and Alien.
B team made Skull Merchant, and they're like in the doghouse.
Yeah, they had B team work on Skull Merchant for sure.
I mean, if that's your number one, if that's the only complaint I have about the chapter is that, like, and again, it's not even like behavior's fault. Like, I mean, maybe they couldn't get the license, maybe it wasn't working. I don't know, but nobody cares that much, right? I mean, you look at your Survivor from behind, anyways, and if somebody's really that into Ripley, they can still be that into Ripley. I was never gonna main. If they got Sigourney Weaver's likeness and Sigourney Weaver's voice lines, I was never going to main Ellen Ripley, so I don't care.
Right.
You know, it's whatever.
That's what I was telling chat I was like, this is kind of comparable to Laurie Strode for me. Like, it's cool she's in the game, but she's never going to be my rotation, personally.
Yeah.
I do like the Jonesy sort of animation thing. That's cute.
I do like it. However, I did get in a lobby with 4 Ellen Ripleys, and it would happen
like gets stuck
to back. Oh, it didn't get stuck for me, but it was like on a loop. It's like the cat would happen for one of us, and then it would happen for the next one, and then it would happen.
It's like being in the Matrix.
Jonesy. And I was just saying, they're like, can we please start the match already? Get me out of here. And all the cat people in my chat were like, it's a cat! Ah! They act like they've never seen a cat before. Like, it's not real.
Yeah.
It's a fake cat.
I actually have people come to my chat and talk to me about how annoying your chat was about the cat, and like how you were just like fucking over it at a certain point. You were just like, you guys are acting like you've never seen a goddamn cat before. Like,
typical cat people. They flip out. That's a little cat. Oh!
But yeah, Ellen looks fine. Like, none of us are gonna main her. No one is going to. I remember when people were like, I'm gonna be P100ing Ellen. When I saw her, I was like, okay.
Yeah, you have fun with that.
Sure you are. Because last week you were going to P100 Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
Don't know. Same P100 all the characters.
Yeah. How are you going to have all this time to P100 every character? I honestly think, like, Ellen looks... I get it. Like, when you look at Ellen Ripley, you're like, oh, Ellen Ripley. So, it's too bad that they didn't get Sigourney Weaver's face likeness, but it's not a deal killer for me. And I honestly think if they pushed in her eyes, like, a little bit, didn't make them like bug out too much, I think she'd look. Yeah,
she just looks a little too anime.
She looks a little too like eager. Like, wow, I'm here. Can't wait to do some generators.
Is that what she says? Can't wait to do some generators.
That's a direct line from Aliens.
I love that line from Aliens. You know that iconic line. Can't wait to do some generators. Ellen Ripley. Beautiful.
Nostromo log 8219. Can't wait to do some generators today.
She does come with 3 perks as well, though. I'll be interested to hear your thoughts on these. So first off, we've got Lucky Star. When you hide in a locker, this perk activates. You leave no pools of blood and make no grunts of pain for 10 seconds. When you exit the locker, you see other survivors in the closest generator's aura in yellow for 10 seconds. And then it has a 30-second cooldown.
I'll be honest. Like, I read that, and I was just like, I'm never going to run that.
Oh, really? I'm going to run it. But I'm a head-on user, so I'm like... I have to make it.
Like, I feel like, why would you run that instead of parental guidance? I feel like that one's better to pair with head-on for the post-head-on.
I don't know. I like that it lets you see your survivor teammates. I found that to be particularly useful. Because then you know where to go to get healed.
Yeah, or to get ignored.
Or where to sandbag.
Oh yeah. I don't know. I can't see myself using it, but. You know, if other people get use out of it, that's great. I like anything that pairs with head-on, so
yeah,
I will say that.
Light-footed. When you are healthy, this perk activates. Your running footsteps are silent. This perk goes on cooldown for 20 seconds after doing a rushed action.
I hate stealth perks, so I wasn't a fan of this one either.
There's too many console players for me to worry about them listening to my footsteps. Most of the time I'm doing stuff next to them that don't hear me. I'm playing Survivor. Like it's you can tell when you're against a console player because they haven't got there's no headphones on. They just pay no attention to you just walking around next to it. It's crazy.
Well, I find that running in DBD is like too strong to consider stealthing. That's just my opinion on it. It's like I could stand still and try to stealth, or I could run. I could just hold W.
Or if you do want to stealth, urban evasion. It will always be better.
Right. Yeah.
Did you see that Umbra tweeted some shit like as a meme and people took it super seriously about like, wow, they're just really trying to fuck spirit mains over again. Like, you know, the footstep sounds is so funny. People took it seriously and got so mad.
That's like, typical DBD community.
Yeah.
I did a stick last week streaming where I played it. I role played as a Reddit killer main, so I like turn my face.
Oh, I heard about this.
I watched that. It was a pinhead. That was a pinhead game, right?
I played 3 matches. One of them was a pinhead game, and in each end game, the survivors I played against, I was like talking. I was typing an end game with a lisp, so I was calling them "talk thick survivors," like with the ths and everything, and they were flipping out at me, and I was just like, guys, it's a joke. Holy shit. One of them even said, "You're talking with a lisp right now," and I was just like, "Yeah." And you think I'm being serious? One of them said, "Go pee in your bed, furry," and that was the highlight of the night.
Did you do it?
No.
It's a shame they didn't leave it on your Steam profile as a little trophy for you.
Yeah.
I love getting a minus rep and then a weird comment.
It's just because my name on DBD is Wolfe. Which is
yeah, of course.
Yeah, but of course they don't see the E at the end.
No.
I guess.
Or they just don't really know how to spell.
Oh, yeah, I was just saying, I think it's more likely they don't know how Wolf is spelled properly, so they're just like,
I mean, yeah, the most likely answer is that they're just unfathomably stupid people that you just wonder how they get through the day. But I like to microanalyze it a little bit, I guess.
How do they get through the day?
How do they get through the day?
But yeah, so light-footed, not a big deal. I doubt we'll ever see anyone run it. But maybe that means there'll be some more perks in the future that can work with it, and there's an idea in the future for it. I don't know. And then finally, Chemical Trap, which I have thoughts on. So after completing 50% progress on any generator, this perk activates. While standing next to a dropped pallet, press the active ability button 2 to install a trap, which stays active for 120 seconds. The aura of the trapped pallet is revealed in yellow to all survivors. When the killer performs a break action on the pallet, it explodes, and they are slowed for 50% for 4 seconds.
Right.
Awesome idea. Needs a buff.
It's.
I love the idea, but the amount of investment you have to take to flip a coin on a killer not breaking a pallet, and then like you being able to assign it or having to run it with any means necessary. Like you either need to run it with other perks of synergy to even get it applied, and then you're like watching the clock. Hopefully it gets to work, right? And so like I just think that like 4 seconds of slowdown is strong for sure, especially if you put it on a god pallet and they have to break the pallet. But like,
right.
Also if you have to run,
imagine on the game.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know. I love the idea, and I love that they're going in this direction, adding more like head-on-y style perks that are more interaction for the survivor. I do think it needs to be stronger to be viable, personally.
Yeah, so when I read it, I was like, Blast Mine for pallets. Sweet. I love running Blast Mine, so I love running this. And one of the reasons why Blast Mine works is that when you use it, you place like a little bomb device on top of the generator, but killers just run up and kick it anyway. They don't look for that stuff. They don't just walk up and be like, wait a second, this has Blast Mine on it. I refuse to kick. They just kick it because they don't see it. Yeah. My problem with this is that when you place the device on the pallet, you place this fucking huge unmissable thing on the pallet, like, this pallet's trapped now, and the killer can see it from a mile away, and it's like, okay, well, half the fun of these perks is that they don't see it coming. Half the fun of Blast Mine is that they kick it, expecting for the gen to regress, and then they get stunned. Haha. Hilarious. The problem with this is that you put it on the pallet, and they're just like, okay. And they know before they break it that they're going to get slowed. It just takes all the fun out of it for me.
Yeah, I 100% agree. As a Blast Mine enjoyer myself, from both sides, I love getting hit by Blast Mine. Always makes me laugh.
Me too.
But it's because I don't ever see it coming.
Yes.
If I know I'm gonna kick a Blast Mine Gen, it's like it's gonna lose all its joy for me, and that's what the palette has. It has that issue. And then I have another gripe with it. It's actually ruined Blast Mine a little bit. Because they've got a new system of pressing F, I think, to set the trap. Or whatever. Whereas in the past, Blast Mine has been whilst you're holding down on the generator, you press E. That's how you put the Blast Mine on. But now to bring Blast Mine in line with this perk, which I understand why they've done that, they've made Blast Mine feel worse, and I don't like that.
Right, now you have to, when you equip Blast Mine onto a generator, you have to not be actively working on the gen. Which that threw me off. I thought it was bugged at first. I was like, how come I can't use my Blast Mine?
Yeah. I get why they've done it, but I don't like it. They've hurt the UX of one perk to bring it in line with another, which I don't like. So I would like to see that reverted. That's the main thing I don't like about Chemical Trap, is that it's made Blast Mine feel worse.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of it, but I think they can fix it if they just, I don't know, maybe make the trap a little smaller.
It should be inside the palette, not on top of it. It should be like stuffed into it.
Yeah, and also does it make like a little beeping sound when you put it on too?
It might do.
Am I making that up? I only used it a couple times. Yeah.
No, but it was making a beeping sound.
Yeah. Not like, why does that have to? I mean, come on. The killer's already right there. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, those are the new packs.
Yeah. Not that impressed with the Survivor ones, I'll be honest. But, you know, I don't mind them.
There's some interesting ideas in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that perk when I was reading the descriptions. Like, I like the idea of kind of like Blast Mapper palettes. I thought that was cool. And again, I'm hopeful that they'll buff it and make it more viable, because I think it's really neat, and I think people would love to run it, and I think it would be good for the game. But if it goes to live as PTB, then I think that all the Survivor perks are just mediocre, which at this point it's kind of just par for the course, right?
Yeah.
Really, what have we had that's impacted the meta outside of May for this in like the last year? Maybe more.
Yeah. In terms of new perks, not really anything.
Yeah.
They've had to buff old ones like Buckle Up or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't really think of any. I'm rolling through them. Like pretty much all the Talita Hanatu perks. I mean, I don't see anybody running them.
No.
Yeah, and that's 6 perks right there. Reassurance maybe on Rebecca.
Good call. Yeah, Reassurance is very strong on the right team.
I'm hopeful that these new perks indicate there's going to be more perks coming in the future that will synergize with them. So they may not seem great now, but maybe in the future they'll be viable. I'm hopeful because it's Ellen Ripley, you know, like this is a big chapter,
right?
I'd be surprised if there wasn't going to be some more ideas of these perks.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate the idea of interactivity with Chemical Trap, and you know, we just had Nicolas Cage come out with like 3 hilarious perks that people are just kind of running for the fun of it.
Yeah,
so that's great. So I like the overall design direction that they're going. I think they just kind of missed the mark with Ellen's perks a little. Yeah.
And her eyes.
Yeah. But honestly, everything else about the chapter is like 10 out of 10. So
yeah. To be clear, I think overall these are like negligible. Everything else is beyond amazing.
I think anything we bring up as far as like being critical is just like you said, negligible. It's like
we're nitpicking.
Absolutely, we have to like work really hard to find something to complain about with this chapter.
Yeah. I won't use these perks is not a complaint.
Wow. Yeah, no, exactly.
That's just
because there's a billion perks that I don't use already. So
yeah,
real.
Which, by the way, a perk favoriting system would be great. I'm gonna keep banging that drum.
Oh, I would agree. That'd be cool. But there's a search bar now, so. Is that everything for Dead by Daylight?
Yeah, I think so.
I will say, I am excited to see the Xenomorph cosmetics.
Yes, me too.
I am hopeful that it's not just, here's a slightly blue one, here's a slightly green one. I'm hopeful that there's... I used to have a toy when I was talking about this on stream the other day. I used to have a toy when I was younger, and it was like a Xenomorph that had been like the DNA of a bull. It was a really cool toy. It had a button on the back where you'd push it, and like the neck would like extend. and it had like horns and spikes all over it and hooves. I would love something like that. Something like a bit more creative and different as a cosmetic, rather than just here's some recolors and then a blighted one. Which is the blighted one. I do hope we get one.
Oh, definitely. We'll definitely get one. I think.
Yeah,
that's like a no-brainer.
Yeah, very excited for some cosmetics. Ripley, yeah.
Overall, though, great piece of DLC. I agree that it's like, the best chapter we've had since at least Wesker, perhaps beyond.
Yeah.
We'll see what it's like on launch. I'm sure it'll be great. And
in terms of PTB, it's probably my favorite PTB I've played since probably Nemesis.
Yeah, same. I think so. Me too. All right,
Doug.
Yeah, I mean, I think I talked about it at the very beginning of the discussion. I was like,
I was just looking for you to agree with us. So we're all in agreement that it's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, this could be the best chapter they've ever released when it's all said and done, is my opinion. So,
yeah.
It's exciting. Oh, we get to play it properly in like 2 more weeks.
We'll get to play properly before 2 more weeks, though.
Maybe in like 5 days.
Or when this is published, just a couple. Oh my goodness. What is it?
Is it Texas Chainsaw?
I was on the edge of my seat. Texas
Space Saw?
Texas Chainsaw coming out this week. By the time you guys are hearing / seeing this, it'll probably just be a couple days. Hopefully it won't be out already. Hopefully can get it up quicker than that. But yeah, I'm so excited for this Friday for us to play it, right? That's the plan?
Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah, okay.
I'm 100% down.
Are you guys going to be ready to play like right at 7 a.m. or are you guys going to be wanting to do it later? I'm trying to make plans. Like, this is probably like not the right time to ask, but
we'll discuss it after.
We'll discuss. I mean, I'll be up at that time, but I might be on baby duty, so I might have to wait a little.
That's fair.
Before, but I'll be around for sure.
I'll probably be around.
Okay.
Well, I have nothing else to do. That's my entire day to be sitting waiting to download that. So.
Yeah.
I'm blocking off Friday for Texas Chainsaw Day, and depending on how Friday goes, possibly as much as the weekend as I can too.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah.
I'm going to be playing Texas for like 18 to 20 hours a day for at least the next week or two when it drops. So that'll be me.
Gonna have to start practicing my eagle voice. Yes, master.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're outside, master. They're getting away.
They're teabagging at the exit, master.
I like the idea that Gary and I are just narrating what's happening. We're just kind of hanging back and being like,
they're
toxically using emotes right now.
They're disabling the generator, master.
Yeah, we're just not doing anything about it.
Can't wait, man. Can't wait.
But yes, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game had a live stream talking about the metagame, about like how you get perks, how MMR is going to work. I don't know where to start, to be honest. We ran through quite a lot.
I think the main takeaway that they had from the stream was that they want the game to be fun, not competitive, and they want it to be more of like they want to be thoroughly like a party game vibe.
Yeah, I think they also mildly talked about like how Friday the 13th formed friendships because it was such a fun party game.
Yeah.
So I quite like that whole element. I quite liked. I appreciated the message they kind of had with the game.
Yeah.
But Doug is shaking his head.
The sentiment. What?
No. Fucking fool's errand is what they're talking about. They're pretending like they're going to be able to keep the community from turning Texas Chainsaw into a fucking Wild West comp game. Like, it's not gonna happen. So you got two types of people.
Can I just say, ready. Loved the pun. It's not gonna happen.
You like that? Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Can you put that on my
I'll make a note right now.
Make a note, please. All right.
Derek can give +1 point, and I'll give -1 point. And it'll just
like
put the same note. Can pun.
I'm gonna tell you right now. All right, this is what's going on. You got content creators who are rejoicing at the concept of being able to shit on guys named Terry who works at Jiffy Lube, who gets home in the evening and has 2 hours to play video games before he goes to bed. at Jiffy Lube. It's an American company for oil changes for your car. You got to keep up with
Bloody
that.
hell, that is
we could pull out a ton of British names if we wanted to right now, but we're not going to.
like what?
Let's keep moving. Let's keep moving.
Yeah, let's move along.
Nobody knows about your weird businesses. Anyway,
let's move off from Jiffy Lube.
So you got these content creators,
Dodger. Anyway, sorry.
They're gonna play the game 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day, 8 hours a day, whatever. They're gonna be cracked as shit. They're gonna go in there and they're gonna farm poor little fellers and lady fellers and non-binary fellers who are just like, oh my god, it's my 1.5 hours a day to play video games. Poggers, I'm gonna play some Texas Chainsaw. And then they got fucking Angry Pug who's like, all over the map, and they're like, oh my god, this is miserable. So that's
it is like, worth noting that like during the what was it called, the public test thing, the technical test, there was people speedrunning escapes.
Again, they had videos on YouTube within 24 hours of the technical test on like that world record fastest escape strats to get out within 38 seconds. Like, you guys are fucking joking.
That's gonna, if you think that DVD record site, there's gonna be one for Texas Chainsaw.
This game will not be like a fun party game. People are gonna ruin it. So again, like there's two heads to this, like this hydra of like, I love where they're coming from. I love the fucking wide-eyed optimism that they have, that people are going to behave themselves. Not going to happen, dude. People are going to figure out the most effective tactic available. They're going to group up on Killer and Survivor. They're going to take advantage of the fact that there's no matchmaking, so they're just going to be thrown in there with randoms and solos and people that have installed the game today. They're going to farm. But on the flip side, all these streamers who are like, yay, no MMR, yay, are going to be like, God, the game's so fucking sweaty. It's all, if they lose one game, oh my God, this game's a party game. Why did I lose? It's not, it's supposed to be a part. Like, I'm very negative. This whole like MMR ruins games from a streamer's POV is like a Call of Duty thing. It's a Fortnite thing. It's in every content creation vessel. Every game that's had content creators has had content creators who bitch about matchmaking rating. They bitch about MMR, SBMM. SBMM's ruining the game. And that's because they don't want to fucking have to work hard. Because they got a Twitch chat that they're reading. They don't want to have to actually be some of the best players in the game to position themselves as one of the best players in the game and create content as one of the best players in the game. And that's why, go ahead.
I just want to agree with you.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
So the thing is,
I've always been very pro MMR. Like, I think it's a good idea for these games.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I do agree. And I think Texas Chainsaw will have no MMR. They said so.
Do you guys remember when they did the MMR tests in DBD? And they had like each day was like a different matchmaker. So they had like one that was really loose, one that was really strict, one that was like in between. And they had the day that everybody predicts was either it was off or it was like super, super loose. I remember playing that day, and I played the game for 8 hours, and they never finished more than 2 gens in like 8 hours of MMR being turned off. Or at the very least, it was very, very minimal, right? And that's not a pat on my back. It's like the fact of the matter is I have 12,000 hours in the game. I shouldn't be going up against people that don't have hours in the game. It's like when Gary's MMR got reset with the Epic thing.
Nothing has restored my faith in MMR quite like having it reset, because it was basically for like 2 weeks. 3 weeks? It was a long time. I had to just destroy people. I was like, I can't give you the hatch. I don't care how cute you are. My MMR has to go up as much as possible because I need to get out of this. It was fun for a day, but day 2, I was like, I hate this now. Playing Killer sucks.
So I will say that I understand what they want to do, and it's not going to work. It's going to be a colossal failure, in my opinion. It's going to get ruined. People are going to immediately just optimize and be sweaty. And then like 4-mans are going to run roughshod. 3-mans are going to run roughshod. They're going to win forever. People are going to hate the game. They're going to quit the game because, again, the player base is going to have enough players that play it like it's, they're getting the Chili's gift card, that it's going to affect the people that get on for once in a while. And I think that they'll have to institute at least it's same. Evil Dead had to do it. Prop Night had to do it. DBD has obviously had to do it. Like, I think that like maybe at launch it's going to be okay, but like once people start figuring it out, it's going to ruin it. It's going to ruin the game.
This is the most negative I've ever heard Doug speak about any asymmetrical horror game.
I just feel
Texas
like
Chainsaw Massacre.
It just pissed me off. It pissed me off to hear them, to see all the content creators retweeting the video of West being like, there will be no MMR. It's for fun. And I'm like reading these creators be like, I play games for fun. Finally, devs who get it. And I'm like, you motherfucker, you stack 4 and shit on people all day long.
I was about to say, yeah.
Like, no, you don't play for fun. You play professionally and you want it to be fun for you.
Yeah, almost without exception. Whenever I play against another DBD streamer in DBD, if I'm on Killer, they're playing Survivor, they're in a 4 stack and they shit on me. Or if I'm Survivor and they're Killer, they tell me out at 5 gens or they face camp me or something. Almost every single time I mean maybe like 95% of my matches against other streamers have gone like that. But that's exactly what they do. They stack 4 on Survivor and they sweat the hell out of their minds on Killer.
To use a bit of psychoanalysis with them, it's probably because there's a bit of ego with streaming, isn't there? Like generally, you're on camera. There's people watching you play a game. You want to be the fun haver. You want to be like, oh, I don't care about winning. Survivors can just leave. I don't care. And then occasionally, for us it's occasional. For some people it's constant. They just feel the need to destroy their opponents. They have to prove dominance. Mm-hmm. I'm the alpha.
No, yeah.
And then they'll be the ones to say it's a party game.
Yeah. As soon as they lose, why is everybody so sweaty in this party game? But then, like, when they're fucking 4-man escaping for 4 hours straight on stream,
teabagging the killer.
We're just having fun with Sabo. We're just some goofy, silly guys having some good time. And like, come the fuck on, dude. Like,
it's still really in your memory.
It's like, come the fuck on. We're just vibing, bro. We're just vibing off comms. We just got some music. We're vibing. Like, no, you're not. You're shitting on people, and that's okay. But just own it, dude. You know, going for plays. We're just going for plays.
Like, I'm one of those, it's a party game guys, but I also solo queue Survivor, and on Killer, I let people go all the time. If I'm like, oh, they're too hooked at 5 gens, I'll let them go. Yeah. Repeatedly. So, but yeah, you're totally right that most people
we've all been guilty of throwing games for being nice.
Yes. Yeah.
Based, yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, Doug dies a little inside when he does it.
True.
Oh, I hate it when like I encounter that situation where I'm like, that guy's double hooked at 5 gens. I'll let him go. And the next thing I know, he's teabagging me at the exit gate because they somehow did like a miraculous comeback. I like started the chase with the one cracked person on the team, and then they just held on to him one. Yeah. There's like an
iconic moment in my streaming career back in the day when I was playing Billy, and I'm assuming it was a 4 stack, but I had a situation at Shack where I hooked 3 in basement at 5 gens, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna let him reset. Like, we'll just start the game over. Like, I mean, we're in really good shape. We'll let him reset. And God is my witness, those guys 4 out of me, and I was so mad. I was like, it really upset me that I let him go. And then they were like, again, like John said, teabagging at the exit gate, talking shit in post game. Like, imagine throwing that game, dude. Imagine throwing a 3 hooks at 5 gens and 3 in the basement. And that was when my killer villain arc actually started, when I was like, you know what? Fuck Survivor players, man. Like, yeah, it's just,
that's exactly what's going to happen in Texas Chainsaw. That scenario that you just described. If you try to play fun in that game, because how would you even play fun in that game really, other than just like dicking around in voice chat?
I mean, I will say I do appreciate that they want to create like a fun environment where it's not taken too seriously. But Doug, you make a really good point. Like, the whole your speech, I think it does need MMR already, because there was people rushing out immediately.
Well,
gaming has changed, man, and gun
without MMR, it kills solo queue off, right?
Yeah,
I am not playing with an inexperienced killer, like family member. Sorry, like, I'm not going to be sitting there as like my sweaty bubble or cook and having a hitchhiker that doesn't even turn the generators on.
Right, and then you've got a speedrunner on the other side that just picks the lock and leaves. Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate what they're trying to do for sure, but I do think there needs to be some matchmaking. Really just need to separate the fresh installs from the people that are really experienced. I think that's like the main thing that you need. You know, you don't need to go too granular with the MMR of just like, oh, these people with these people and these people with these people. Just make sure that people that are fresh installs, just trying the game out, make sure that they get other people that are freshly installed and not, somebody with 1,800 hours already on week 2. So, Yeah, they just needed just a little bit, just basic MMR, I think.
Yeah, maybe tear it up a little bit though, because I remember was it Nosgoth that we played?
Oh yes,
and we loved that game.
We loved
whilst
that
we were
game.
in like this little. We didn't realize we were in like a baby stage, and eventually we all finished it. And it went, right, well, now you can play with everyone else. But the game was, like, dead at this point. So the only people still playing it in the main lobbies were just the sweatiest people, and we got wrecked.
Yeah. Nosgoth was, it was made by Psyonix, the Rocket League developer, back in the day. It was, like, vampires versus vampire hunters.
Yeah.
It was, like, 5v5. Oh, it was so good. It was like Left 4 Dead versus mode a bit.
Yeah.
But it was a little more in-depth. And, yeah, we played that. We played that for, like, weeks. Yeah. At whatever MMR we started at, and we were like, this is so much fun. Like, we were winning most of our games. We lost some, but we won most of them. And then at some point, it's like a switch was flipped, and we queued up, and we just got destroyed.
We went against the God Squads. The only like
yeah.
Oh, it was rough, and we quit, and then the game died like a week later.
The same thing happened to me with Multiversus. I used to play that with my friend Max all the time. We would play Multiversus Duo, and like. You know, when the game was new, it was really fun. You know, we'd win some, we'd lose some, but it was always like an entertaining, fun match. And then it got to a certain point where the population decreased enough to where it was just sweaties. And we were just getting destroyed every single game. And we had one night, I think, where we lost like 10 times in a row, like every game we queued up for. And we uninstalled the game and haven't been back since. It's just not fun to lose over and over again to people that are like their entire life is the game.
Which Texas Chainsaw could have.
Well, I was gonna say, you know, it's funny because like I would argue that like 95% of players are sweaty, and the only thing that stops the game from just being death squads after death squads is that a lot of people just suck. They're just held back by the fact they're not that great at the game, so they're trying as hard as they can. They're just not that good, right? So I think that, and the thing is like. If this was a smaller game, if it was going to be a smaller launch, if it was like some prop night, home sweet home stuff, I could see like, yeah, you don't want to go with MMR. Like, nothing that limits matchmaker. We got to get matches fast. But we saw the technical test, right? Like people were into the game. There was 50,000 people watching on Twitch. Like every time keys went out, the servers would take hits because they were like, just people were massively logging in. Like the game is it's got a lot of hype, and Gunn has done everything to this point perfectly to get hype drummed up for the game.
I can't believe they've got like they're working with UFC and AEW. Yeah, they've got like sponsored matches.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, they're doing a terrific job, and I don't want to come off as like. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of West, huge fan of Gunn. I think they're doing a terrific job, and I feel like I admire their optimism in the idea.
You're being a bit of a Gary about all this, Doug. To be honest,
I'm just saying I know, but I admire their optimism. I just think that it's going to be like a colossal mistake to not. I mean, hopefully they're already like in the pre stages of like setting something up for a matchmaker just in case kind of thing, or like I don't know, because this is again we're gonna have 80% of the community is gonna be playing like money's on the line within the first week.
I'll say it is a bit weird that there's gonna be no MMR for the foreseeable future, but one of the things they describe is how teams will have to balance themselves. They kind of go into a bit of detail of like, you know how like League of Legends, you don't want everyone to play support or, you know, those kind of, so you've got to like balance out. So if people are playing this family member, someone's playing Johnny, you need a sissy, you know, something like that. They describe having that kind of system, but League of Legends and games like that tend to have MMR because they're competitive. Like there's a Heroes of the Storm, all these games, when you're trying to balance your teams out, there's a competitive edge to it, clearly.
Right.
If it's just fun, then you can play whoever you like, right? So it does feel, those two things do feel a little counter to each other to me.
Yeah, I think it's going to be one of those things. We'll just have to see how it pans out. But I think we do have a pretty good handle on how these games tend to work at this point. So yeah, you guys are probably totally right in predicting how this is going to go. I think it's, but you know, if nothing else, on the launch weekend, there's going to be,
it's going to be fantastic.
It's going to be fun no matter what, I think.
Yeah, the best time to play an ASIM is always the first few days to the first week or so, when people haven't figured out the metas and haven't figured out the sweat, and everybody hasn't unlocked everything, and there isn't like, yeah, I think it's going to be really good. And again, I don't want to. I could be wrong too. Like they might actually like pull it off. I mean, I don't know everything, and maybe it will be a game that thrives on no MMR. I mean, it would be the first time that it's ever actually worked in an MM or in an ASIM before. But I mean, it's the first time for everything. So I want to have like cautious optimism. But I do think that I just hope that somebody at Gun Media has got like some glass and a red button they can smash for in case of emergency.
Yeah.
In terms of a matchmaker, because if guys are playing this game a week or two in, and again, they've got an hour or two a day to play, and they're just literally all they're getting, if they're solo queuing into just fucking smash or stacked lobby teams, guys like us that are like playing the game professionally and like playing the game for a job, it's going to be really rough. It's going to be really hard to keep people around. So
I think the game doesn't have DC penalties either.
No.
What do you guys think about that? Because like if you register against a sweaty team, you can just move on to the next one. True. But at the same time, you are kind of spoiling the match for the other side.
Oh, nobody cares about that.
Oh, and you're
and oh yeah. I know. Like who cares? But
nobody cares about that.
But you're also going to be playing when someone DCs in a DVD or any other ASIM horror game, it's annoying. Is that going to be an issue?
I mean, I think there should always be a DC penalty. I don't think it should be like super aggressive, but I think there should be some kind of punishment because, like, I remember when they turned it back on or whatever for DVD, or they turned it off temporarily. It was like I had so many matches in a row where there was like a DC. It's just because people were doing it left and right. It's just like, well, there's no penalty, and so they had much less tolerance for any kind of moment that could potentially be unfun in the game, and then it got to the point where I was like, well, what's the point of playing if every game is going to be a 3v1 or whatever? So I think there should always be a penalty, but I think it should be, super aggressive. We'll see how it works with this one, though.
But yeah, aside from that, they showed the skill trees. I think I've mostly understood it. Admittedly, I didn't watch the whole thing in entirety. But there's going to be two different skill trees for the characters. So you get one that's kind of like your star sign, which seems like it's for your specific character. So if you're playing Connie, she has specific constellation skill tree for her that you can build to make Connie better. And then she has another skill tree, which is separate, where you can spend your experience points to unlock more perks, which seems like the kind of you'll be able to respec and build your character up using that one, which I think will apply to other characters as well. So a bit more of a generic skill tree as well. But yeah, aside from that, dedicated servers on launch, which is cool. And you can spend points across characters. So you can play one character and then spend your points on another one, which I think is cool as well.
Yeah, it's important, I think.
Yeah. It is.
In a game where characters have like specific kind of roles and styles, like it's nice to not force people to have to play like a support style character if that's just not their play style. I like that a lot.
Well, especially if you're having to balance your team role and you end up what if like no one wants to be the support role, so you always have to play the support role, but then you can never like buff up your like your DPS or whatever. So yeah, I quite like that.
Yeah, that's one of the fatal flaws of VHS was having character locked progression. That you couldn't spend on other characters. Weirdly,
one of the lesser faults though, because they had such
glaring
so many
fatal flaws. Hard to keep track of how many flaws that game had. Yeah, but I mean that's why Evil Dead and DVD and all the major games do cross character progression or whatever. So yeah, it's good they have it too.
Yeah, but very excited. Oh, I can't wait. Oh, it's gonna be good.
Next episode we're gonna talk all about TCM. It's gonna be like, I imagine it's gonna be like a special Texas Chainsaw only.
I would assume so, because at that point we're just waiting for Xenomorph. So yeah. I mean, the summer barbecue event's going on.
Oh, we didn't even talk about that. I mean, can I just say something about the summer barbecue event actually? Because I didn't play during the original summer barbecue event for DVD.
Yeah.
And so, but I heard it hyped up for years. Because I would play these other events. And people were always like, oh, I wish they would do something special, something cool, like the old barbecue events. Oh, those were the days. And I was just like, oh, it must have been like exceptionally cool for them to be talking about it, for them to be like waxing nostalgic. And then they basically remade it for this one. And I'm like, I mean, it's fine, but it's just like all their other events.
They didn't remake it though. It used to be so much better. All right, so it used to be if anyone on the team finished a margarita gen, everybody got the bonus points, right? So that way, if you were God tier looper or you were doing other stuff, like you still got your bonus points for being in the match. On the flip side, the killer had the barbecue hooks, the grill hooks. They only got points the first time they used each hook. So you had like mini games for the killer. Like you had to try and get them to each hook, which was like actually kind of fun for me. I always thought it was neat to be like, ooh, I got to max out my grill hooks. And so now they've changed it for whatever reason. They've like reverted it to where every time you hook a survivor, you get your grill points as killer. But then survivors, you have to finish the gen to get the points. It's so odd to me. Like they like nerfed it for survivor and buffed it for killer, which I know is weird.
Maybe they're trying to get more killers to play.
I don't know why. Maybe I don't know why.
Do we really need more killers to play? Ugh. Sorry.
I will say, from a visual perspective, I love the hooks. I think the generators look great. I like the sizzle when you put someone on a hook. The foot in the slushy machine looks really low res. It's really annoying me every time I see it.
Yeah.
Like everything else looks so good that I'm looking at it. I guess it's into your mannequin leg.
Maybe, yeah.
But
I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I was just like I love the fact they're doing more events. Like I love that this one especially is so close to the anniversary event. Like they're doing another one so soon. That's great. I hope they like more events are great. Welcome more of them. But I just feel like this one was kind of.
I mean, I like it. I don't need the events to be anything more than just the hooks look better.
Yeah.
Here's some different looking gens. Here's some blood points. Like I don't need it to be like layers and layers of mini games and things. Like there's a tone to do with it. Some more like cosmetics you can get. I liked it. I think it's all right.
I guess I just had it built up for me for years of like the old barbecue event. You have no idea. You have no idea how cool it was.
It was probably like really cool because like one of the first times they did something. Whereas now we're numb to it because we get one every like few months.
Yeah, maybe so.
Maybe.
Because like to me, so far of all the events, I've enjoyed the Halloween one the most, where you could kick pumpkins and you got a trick or a treat. That's the best event I've played.
Yeah.
I really like the snowmen too.
Oh, the snowmen are good.
The snowman was really fun. Yeah.
There's something like kicking a pumpkin and getting getting hindered or getting like a speed up that was like
haste. That was neat. Yeah, for sure.
But the snowmen are good. When they started being able to like high five and it made a little particle effect. Oh.
Yeah. Oh, that was really funny. Or they're doing like a little snowman race at the exit gates or something. Yeah. That was cool. Well, I hope they do more I hope they do more in the future, more often.
So I think that brings us to
the main event.
The end of the season.
All right. Welcome there, Doug. Thanks for joining us here today. We're happy that you've shown interest in the co-host position of the Spine Chill podcast.
Oh, do I talk now? Oh, yeah. Thanks for having me. I appreciate the consideration. I feel like is a thing you say at an interview.
You're welcome. And yes, this is an interview. Don't forget it. Gary, my current co-host, and I will be asking you a series of questions, and based on the answers to these questions, we will decide whether or not we will be extending the co-host position to you. So yeah, let's get this underway. Gary, would you like to start with the first question?
I would also like just to double check a few facts before we jump into that. Just looking through the application just to make sure I've got the right information down. Okay. And so your full name is Mr. Doug Ronaldman?
No, it's not. It's Doug Running Man.
Running Man. Okay.
Run.
That's
man.
Okay, let's see. All one word. Okay.
So Douglas is my first name. Okay, Douglas.
Right. We've got
Run is my middle name. R-U-N.
Okay.
N. Two N. Sorry. R-U-N-N. And then Ingman is my last name. I-N-G-M-A-N.
Oh.
Douglas Run Ingman.
All I can say is in future, make sure to fill your applications out like clearly. Clearly, there's something on your end that's gone wrong. It's fine. This is why we're doing this, just to make sure we've got the right information. You are a fog whisperer?
That I am, yeah.
That's very impressive. And also it says here you are the #1 VHS streamer on Twitch?
No, I think I was number 7 if we're being serious, but literally top 10. Top 10, yeah.
Oh.
I mean, I think I was number 1. I do think I was
play
the best.
VHS? Or
no, that game's not a thing anymore. Yeah, it's sadly, despite
sounds like a shit game to me.
Yeah, well, it pretty awful. I don't know why you put it on your application that you were. Well, I guess number 7. It must be a 7, not a 1.
I mean, I feel like it's still worth mentioning that I was one of the best to ever touch the game, right?
Of course, yes. All experience is good experience.
Yeah.
I particularly liked your line of "You are a man of many hats." I'm glad to hear that.
That's real. Yeah. This
one. So let's just jump into the questions, Suri.
No, I'd love that. Yeah.
First of all, just like to open up and would you like to tell us about yourself a little bit more? Who is Doug Ronald Running Man?
Oh, that was a close one.
Well, I don't know if I've ever mentioned this before, but I've been playing DBD since the beginning. I started Dead by Daylight 2016, June. I have over 12,700 hours in Dead by Daylight. You've already mentioned I'm a fog whisperer. It might surprise you to know that I was a full-time Friday the 13th streamer before I was ever a full-time Dead by Daylight streamer. So when those two games were out at the same time and competing, I chose Friday the 13th over Dead by Daylight. And then that game died. So,
the same could be said for me, actually.
Oh yeah.
Actually, yeah, I chose my champion in Friday the 13th, and I lost. And now I am also streaming Dead by Daylight.
Interesting.
Yeah, funny how the tides turn.
Yeah, the turn.
I started so late that I started with Resistance. I chose DVD.
Wow, that's interesting. You also hate Friday the 13th, so
true.
Let's just go ahead and we'll talk about that at another point. But Gary does not like Friday the 13th, which is probably why we fight so much. I would assume. Apples and oranges, oil and vinegar or whatever. That's not real. It's water and oil, I think.
We are aware here at the Spine Chill Enterprises of Gary's questionable proclivities, but we overlook them.
Make it sound so weird.
I am an ASIM content creator primarily on Twitch. There is not a horror ASIM game that has released in the window of my streaming full time that I have not covered outside of Resident Evil Resistance.
Oh.
Outside of Resident Evil Resistance, Gary. And I blame that on the fact that game was like paywall behind the single player Resident Evil game. You had to get the game, and at that time I was not playing single player horror games, so to get it I would have had to buy an entire other game, and I just decided not to do that. I do regret that though. That's worth putting down on the application. I do regret having not played Resistance during its peak, and I did watch a lot of Resistance.
I'm just summarizing this to you like ASIM horror. I hope that's okay.
Yeah, that sounds.
I like ASIM horror a lot. Yeah, it's good.
But you hate Resident Evil.
Yes.
No, definitely not.
No, they're very clear.
Next question. What are your qualifications for this co-host position?
I'm 40.
An excellent question.
I'm 40 years old. I can grow a beard. Like yours, but yours are a bit longer, I feel like. I can't grow hair like yours though. I'm kind of balding, so that is, I'll be honest about my weaknesses. I talk a lot about things like Dead by Daylight and other stuff, right? I don't get upset about stuff on Twitter ever. I think that's a strength of mine. I'm willing to play the games that you guys aren't, and everybody knows that. Like, I played Ghostbusters last weekend, John, on my own, just for the fun of it.
On that, have you played Home Sweet Home online at all?
Weeks ago. I can tell you the last time if you need the receipts. Hang on.
We would like to hear the date and time.
Yes, yeah.
Date and time.
If possible. If you could make that available to our team, that would be great.
Yes, if you could pass that information on.
Yeah, of course.
Just want to make sure.
We'll have our receptionist note it down.
Yeah.
I want you guys to know, just so you're aware, the last time I played VHS was April 12th.
Okay.
But Home Sweet Home Yeah, more recent than 98% of people that have played that game before. I played Home Sweet Home Online on July 9th.
July 9th.
Oh, okay. No, fair enough. Wow. Fair enough.
For 74 minutes. And that is 73 more minutes than I think you two have played the game. So that's pretty impressive.
Actually, I've got 94 minutes.
Actually, yeah, I've got about the same amount. Yeah. Well, okay, we'll have to mark that down.
Quite aggressive move towards.
I was trying to make a joke. I was trying to make a joke. I was going to use that. I was going to parlay into my next thing. Is that, didn't it? No, but it's my sense of humor. Isn't it? You asked me why I was qualified. I
thought you could own up to your mistakes, Doug. This is a great opportunity to show us that.
I was making a joke, Gary. And this is another reason why...
It's Mr. Bun. This is very unprofessional.
Another reason why I'm such a good fit is that I am strong in my convictions. So if I say something, I mean it. And honesty is my toxic trait. And so I was making a joke. And I cannot tell you that I was not making a joke just to appease you in the interview. I would.
So if you always say things that you mean, and you were attacking me and Mr. Wolfe here.
Wait, when was it?
If you say what you mean, and you were
I was making a joke.
How many minutes we have?
I was making a joke. It was humor.
Hmm.
It wasn't belittling. It was more, again, I'm illustrating.
This all feels very aggressive.
I'm going to write this down.
I am a killer main. Okay, I do play the power role. Okay,
we'll try to hold that against you.
Yes.
Let's move on to the next question. Gary, I believe you have it. Yeah.
Do you have any experience co-hosting?
Okay. I have hosted a number of failed podcasts. Thank you. But that wasn't my fault. It was definitely the algorithm and the thumbnails, I feel like, were a factor as well. But I do have hosting experience. I have co-hosted a discussion with Darva and Cope about the history of annoying things in Dead by Daylight.
And those are streamers as well?
These are friends of yours, or?
They are.
Okay.
Fellow co-hosts.
But I do feel like they respect me more than you guys. So they actually would have, I think they would agree that I was the co-host of that roundtable podcast. But I could be mistaken. You'll have to, I can put you in touch with their people if that's necessary.
No, that's, we believe you. We believe you. Yeah. And we're happy that you, are knowledgeable and have networked with other co-hosts as well. That's very important.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, Doug, what would you say is your biggest weakness?
I don't have one. It's not a thing.
So, would you suggest maybe your biggest weakness is an inability to reflect on one's weaknesses?
No, I don't think so. I've reflected for a long time and I can't find anything. So, maybe my biggest weakness is that I don't have any, and therefore I just don't have any more room to grow. I'm not sure. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a brain doctor. Okay. I'm a killer main on Twitch. Okay. I'm not a brain scientist. I don't know. Oh, I just think
Interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
We'll make a note of that.
Thank you.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time?
I'm probably playing Dead by Daylight, I feel like. like it depends on what time it is. I could be sleeping. But the odds are really high that I'll be playing Dead by Daylight. Yeah.
Great answer. Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. I deserve that.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably what we'll be in 5 years as well.
I hope so.
Now
co-hosts.
Right. A better answer would have been co-host of the Spine Show podcast, but that was good too. Now I believe you mentioned how many hours you have in Dead by Daylight. Could you please repeat how many hours you have, or because I'm not sure I quite caught it.
Pleasure. I am currently at 12,897 hours in Dead by Daylight.
Wow.
So I'm coming up on 13,000 hours. Wow.
Gary, that's more than you and I combined.
That is.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's definitely something we'll factor in.
can I have a follow-up question for that before we move on to the next one?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Do you feel that was a better use of your time than learning another language?
Absolutely. Without question, yeah. What value is a language going to do for me when I'm going up against like a comp Oni on Fractured Cowshed, right? Or when I'm going up against...
Or trying to be a co-host of the #1 asymmetrical horror podcast.
True. There is an argument to be made that if I could have learned Romanian, that would have been helpful.
Yeah.
However, that's not my area of expertise.
Yeah. Well, you'd be surprised. Without that feat on the podcast, we're still #1.
True.
We are the #1 Romanian podcast. Did you know that?
I've been told that by my sources.
Very prestigious.
So Doug, you've mentioned that you are a killer main. Killer mains tend to prefer working solo. Can you give me examples where you've been a team player?
No, I don't think so. No, well, sorry, wait. Yeah.
What terrible.
No.
Well, just give me a moment. So I had to let the neurons had to connect. And then I remembered that when I was playing the Texas Chainsaw Technical Test, you spawn in with multiple killers. So family you have. So I guess at a base level, I was a team player because I was on a team. But I do feel strongly that I was doing all the work, and that if we won, it was because of my individual efforts, and if we lost, it was because they did bad. That's my armchair assessment of the technical test. Yeah. So, and then again on the Spine Chill podcast, I do feel like, again, though limited as an invited guest, I do think that I am a part of, on some level, maybe even just in my own mind, metaphorically, part of a team.
So, to equate the two examples you've given there, are you suggesting that anything that goes well on the podcast would be thanks to you, whereas anything that goes badly is down to your teammates in this example?
No, I would never say that because this podcast it's never bad. It's only good. And so we've never had a bad season, never had a negative review. We're #1 in every category that is tracked.
True.
And so on that note, I feel like I'm not giving myself the individual credit. I'm just adhering to a trail of excellence that this podcast has left. So there is
that answer ended a lot better than it started.
Yeah, that definitely you definitely recovered there. Very happy to see that. Now, world records are an important part of being a co-host of the Spine Chill podcast. Do you have any?
I do. In fact, I am the former world's fastest 4K on the Twins at 3 minutes and 33 seconds. I was #1 in the world for 4 to 6 months before I was defeated by Lynxie. The word that was coming to mind was not Lynxie, but I said Lynxie because I'm in a professional.
Where have I heard that name before?
I think she's a hag player. I think
right.
Some very handsome devils commentated one of her matches in Light in the Fog, and
I seem to remember that. Yes, that might be where I've heard the name before. Now, it's interesting that you say a hag main broke your world record for the Twins.
Yeah. Can I walk you through that? Well, a broken watch is right twice a day, right? And sometimes it's just, all I'm saying is that sometimes things happen and there's no explanation. Like one time I bought a sandwich, right? And it had like an extra piece of cheese on it. There's no explanation for that.
Right.
It was a great day, but there's no way to describe why that happened. And I feel like the 2 cheese sandwich and Lynxie's defeat of my record are in the same astronomical, once in a million lifetime chance.
So just to clarify my notes, so we're saying the Lynxie is equal to a watch that is broken, and is also cheesy.
Yes,
cheesy broken watch.
I see.
Yes, absolutely.
So,
but please.
So your answer is shit happens.
Well, I would never swear like that in a professional interview. But if I was off the record, right?
Oh, like the DVD perk. Did you hear that, Gary?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let me make a note of that.
This might be one for. I feel like, well, this is good. I was the world's first Prestige 3 Ghostface.
Now that's a world record right there.
That is a
and that's one that I can't lose. And that's one that inspired a lot of people to ruin it for me and speed run to Prestige 3 after that. And then I never got another one because people are better and sweatier than me. But for one chapter, I was the world's first max level Ghostface. And that can never be taken from me.
No, it can't. That's the best thing about world records.
I was also world record holder. Last person to genuinely care about VHS on Earth. Less content creator, at the very least.
Some say you still do.
To this day, some say I still care to this day. True.
There are whispers that you still do. Okay.
Doug, can you give us an example of how you've overcome a great deal of stress in a Dead by Daylight scenario?
No, I don't get stressed out when I play Dead by Daylight. Like, they're the ones who are stressed out, I feel like. So, no. I just don't overcome it by not feeling it, I suppose. So, like, right now, for instance, for a normal person, this might be stressful. No,
we're feeling how much you don't care. Yes.
I'm not stressed. Well, I don't think I'm smart enough to know if I should be. That's the thing. I think that I have, like, an issue with understanding what's happening at a lot of moments in my life. Right? So, like, right now, I don't know if I should be scared, so I'm not. Or nervous, so I'm not, right? I think that's powerful. I think it's powerful. And I think it's, for instance, who do you guys go to reach out to the members of the community, right? That we want to interview on the podcast that maybe are not as keen on, like, who's the guy, right? Who's the guy? Who reaches out?
That'd be our recurring guest.
That would
Doug
be me.
Ryan.
Because I'm not smart enough to know.
Ingman. Sorry.
It's real. Because I don't understand the danger I'm putting myself in by entering those DMs, right? And so to me, it's a powerful thing to feel no fear ever. So in Dead by Daylight, I don't feel stressed.
I am honestly quite impressed by your ability to answer a question really badly, like god awful, but somehow make it sound quite good by the end. Because you basically said, I don't get stressed, no. Because I'm a useful idiot. And I appreciate that.
Gary, thank you for seeing me.
Now,
forever.
we have we're down on the final stretch here. These next 3 questions are going to be the most important.
Okay.
And they will have the heaviest weight in the decision for whether or not you get the co-host position. This first one, it's important that co-hosts provide a fair and balanced perspective on all characters in the games that we play. Right, Gary?
Yes, very true.
Right, very true. Please provide us with a compliment about Felix.
In your own time, of course, but...
Yeah, can I have a moment?
Take your time. Take your time. We know this is a difficult process for you.
Compliment about Felix. Felix gives me an avenue to feel pure unbridled hatred. It's I don't know if you're aware that the second in command of the Dalai Lama, in fact, plays violent video games. He plays shooters. He's talked about how he needs a place to channel the animal instinct to kill and maim and be aggressive. And that, for me, is just being aware that Felix exists in video games.
Oh.
So Felix is like a stress ball for you.
I don't want to agree with that, because that would be an acknowledgement that Felix serves a purpose. But because you have put me in this position, I will tell you that it's good to have something to hate. sometimes.
Okay.
It's good to have.
I think that Jesus said that at one point. It's good to have something to hate sometimes.
So just to clarify, what you're saying is it's good that Doug has Felix.
I don't like that, what you said. Can we maybe word it differently?
Doug couldn't exist without Felix.
Doug couldn't live without Felix.
I don't agree or like those things that you said either.
Okay.
Doug tolerates Felix but makes the best of it. Feels a little warmer.
Okay. Yeah. I can see that. Okay.
Doug would like DBD less without Felix.
No.
Okay. That's not good enough.
Either.
It's the most accurate so far.
I see what you're doing. I think that one would probably be the least offensive thus far, but it's still so inaccurate. I see what you're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to help you say something nice.
Yeah. I mean, I think we kind of got about as much as we can get from this topic. So
Doug needs Felix. Got it.
Okay.
Right. So, achieving goals is important to be a co-host. John knocks his goals out of the park, left, right, and center.
Right.
As do I. Is there a reason you have continually failed to reach your 40-follower goal on streams?
Well,
every time we visit your stream, it says 39 out of 40. We're amazed.
Yeah.
It's like it never moves.
Chad, I just need to be clear. Are you accusing me of something right now, or do we want to? Is there an accusation being lodged?
We are interviewing you to be a co-host. This is not a police interrogation.
This is not a court.
So, I'm gonna Elaine. I think that sometimes in a world when we're a creator, you will do or say a thing, right, where a person will choose that, perhaps this is not the content for me, and they'll click the unfollow button. And I just think that I have had a tremendous run of bad luck with regards to, as I'm about to reach my 40 follower goal, somebody completely unrelated chooses to unfollow the channel at that time.
Carrie, is it you? Do you keep following and unfollowing Doug's channel?
This is not an interrogation. Let's move on to the next question.
All right. This is our last question, and it's also very important, just like the other two. Now, commitment to the podcast is imperative for co-hosts. Gary's committed. I know he is. I know I'm committed. It's one of our major tenets, one of our major principles here at Spine Chill. Now, it came to our attention that you didn't rate the podcast 5 stars on Spotify until the very night before we hit the 500 ratings required for your co-host application. Why is that?
And remember, this is not an interrogation.
Not an interrogation.
This is an interview.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna bear it all. They say that being vulnerable is a strength. And I consider myself to be the strongest person who's ever lived. So I guess at some point I'll need to be vulnerable.
Wow.
Guys, things are hard sometimes. Like I didn't know how, and I didn't want to ask. And then I was in John's channel, and everybody was talking about it, and I opened up because again, I upload the podcast. It's one of my roles here at Spine Chill, even as a recurring guest, is to upload the podcast to our audio only channels. I do that from my PC. I've never actually gone to the podcast on mobile Spotify, and then when I went there, I saw there was a rate this option. I was like, oh, I'm going to be 100% honest. John's been talking for weeks about how many ratings we had. I had no idea how to see that because I can't see it on the PC version of Spotify. And so I just took his word for it and nodded and was like, okay. So the reality is I had no idea how. And when I figured it out, I was like, oh, and I did it. And things are hard. I wasn't made. I don't know if you guys know. I grew up in Alaska. I was like a camping, fishing, boating person. Like I don't know. Like computers are hard and technology is weird and scary. It's not an excuse, but also I just didn't know how, and then I figured it out.
I think we should give him credit here for being vulnerable with us and for explaining
and being
this
so
to us.
strong.
Yeah.
Thank you. I agree. I'm very strong. Thank you.
I think that's it. Like it's a little golf clap.
Yes.
Gary and I. Thank you so much for your time, Doug. We'll be in touch.
Okay. Thank you. So I don't get to say anything. Like then I have there's not my chance to talk and say stuff, or
no, we'll just be in touch.
Yeah.
Oh, do we have is there like a incubation prediction on this one, or is it just kind of?
We'll let you know.
Could I expect it? In what manner should I?
We'll call you.
In what manner should I expect to be contacted?
You'll know.
We'll find you.
We'll find you.
Okay, I don't expect an answer now, but is everything okay?
Everything's fine.
Everything's fine. Yeah. And we'll be in touch. Once we've made our decision. Thank you for your time.
But okay. Yeah. All right.
Thank you everybody for tuning into Spine Chill Season 35.
Maybe our best yet.
Maybe our best yet. Possibly.
Maybe. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. So next time you see us, we'll be talking about Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh.
And we have 2 co-hosts right now, but we may have 3. We'll find out. But we still
next
have 2.
time.
Or we have 3. Next time on Spine Chill. So signing off, it's I'm John Wolfe here with Gary the Hot Cross.
Thank you.
And our 36-time recurring guest, Doug Run Ingman. Sorry.
Yes, Run.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Run Ingman.
Just once again, thank you for the opportunity, and to my huge, massive, insane legion of fans out there that are rooting for me, and they're in my corner. Guys, we did it. Let them know what your vote is in the comments, please. Please. He's made it this far.
Please. Votes.
Yes. Leave your votes down in the comment section below.
We'll be sure to
tally them up.
I meant it more as a vote of confidence, not a literal vote. Yeah. But
we'll count
what if the comments just full of people be like, actually,
yeah,
No. I think they'll be more positive than that, Gary. Yeah. Well, you and I are super delegates, though, so only our votes count.
Only our votes matter.
That's right.
And we'll spend hours after this talking about this, figuring it out, looking through your answers.
We've got a very complicated grading rubric that we're using, so it'll just take time to calculate.
Is it like DVD MMR?
Yes, but more so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like MMR.
We take into account things like how many pallets you drop and when,
and how many pallets you're stunned by.
Yeah.
What if it's
50?
50-50?
50-50.
What if it's 50-50? That's not really fair to judge on that when it's a coin flip, but all right. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
We'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Hugs and kisses.
Hugs and kisses.
That didn't feel good.